Alrighty, so I have the absolute honor to share with you someone that's not only racked up a ton of book awards and many awards outside of the book industry, but most recently she pivoted over to giving book awards. So you're kind of going, okay, what gives? Is she going to tell us a little bit of that secret sauce? Well, of course so. And that's why I'm just absolutely tickled to death that Paula Sheridan from PageTurnerAwards.com is going to drop a little bit of 411 for you. So we're going to make sure that you stay tuned. Hey, in the meantime, today's video is sponsored by the fine folks over at Author Brand Kits. You all know that I recommend building a brand to sell more books. Now, there's a service that can handle that for you. Check out Author Brand Kits. They take care of everything for you, from websites to email to social media and way too much more. Go visit dalelinks.com/ABK to get 25% off for a limited time. Folks, today's guest is Paula Sheridan. She's an award-winning entrepreneur, easy for me to say, and the award-winning author of the People's Book Prize for her debut novel, The Grotto's Secret, written under her pen name, by the way, Paula Wynn. Harboring a near obsessive love of learning the craft of writing, Paula has been scribbling down the stuff in her head ever since she can remember. When she's not daydreaming up plots for new historical thrillers while walking her Springer Spaniel in the Andalusian countryside, she's helping indie authors to achieve their dream of seeing the novels in a reader's hands through her reading community on Book Lover. Paula also blogs about writing techniques and reviews writing books on Writing Goals. Say that 10 times fast. So I am just absolutely pleased to introduce you folks over here to Paula Sheridan. Paula, how you doing?
Hi, Dale. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you. You've said such wonderful things about me, and it makes me sound so good. But thank you. It's not all that good, but thank you so much. It sounds wonderful.
You know, I could really jack with you right now and go, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, I can't.
You could.
Oh, man. Yeah. This is actually our second try at doing the live interview. So if anybody watched previously, this is our second take. But at any rate, I want to address the live chat here and those that are watching the replay. Listen, folks, I'm going to go through this interview here. I've got a few questions I want to ask because I'm selfish and I want to have those questions asked first. And right afterwards, though, there's going to be a live question and answer. So you're going to want to make sure that you load up any questions that you might have. Let me know where you're watching from as well. How's the weather out towards your direction? I know, Paula, where are you at? You're in the UK or you're in...
I'm originally from the UK. We're a UK-based company, but I'm very lucky to be in Spain, north of Malaga. Oh. So in the mountains, it's rural, it's remote, it's lovely. So it's a bit of a cold day, but a very bright, sunny day. So yeah, lovely in Spain.
Awesome. Good stuff. I knew it wasn't quite UK. You came from the UK, but you're in Spain now. So that's fantastic. Boy,
And originally from South Africa. So I'm kind of like...
Oh my gosh. World travel. You got to hit the US next. That's it. You're just going to have
Absolutely. It's on our list. Our youngest son has married a lovely American girl.
Yeah.
So it's on our list. We've got to go out there. So yeah, we'll be out there soon. Well, when we're allowed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. Hey, so let's go ahead and jump right into things. I'm going to ask you just briefly, could you share a bit about how you got into writing and publishing?
Yeah, well, it's probably started a very, very long time ago. I was probably about 18. Well, even before that, I was telling stories, as I think most writers do. I was telling stories from very, very young. I remember the days I used to turn our coffee table upside down and put my younger brothers and sisters in it, and we used to spin it around and say to them, right, we're taking you off to these whatever lands we were taking them off to. We'd tell these stories, and then when my parents got back, we'd have to turn the table up again, and we never ever told them why there was loads of scratches on their beautiful antique table. That's probably where it started. But then about when I was 18 or so, I wrote off to England. I was living in South Africa at the time, and because I'm South African born, and wrote off to England and so excited. I wanted to learn about creative writing, and I was doing this long distance. In those days, no internet, nothing like you could do nowadays, just quickly YouTube somebody or, YouTube how to learn something. So I wrote off to England, got this pile of books, I started learning, and I had to fill out these little reports and send them back to England. And then eventually, when I moved over to England, my sort of I had ancestral family coming from England, so I moved over to England, and then obviously started really taking up my writing a lot more. So it's been a long, long, long time. Sort of getting there. And then my husband and I, we sort of have various businesses, as you've mentioned. We've won various awards for various businesses, but one of them, we were doing something with BT, which is a big UK company, and the guys, they were saying to me, you know, the kind of stuff that you're talking about, because I started teaching myself a lot about search engine optimization and, you know, how to develop your website, how to optimize your website, really, and all that kind of stuff. So I started doing a lot of talks for this particular company and, you know, just trying to help young entrepreneurs how to learn the stuff to do it themselves. And so I put out a proposal to Wiley, which is a very big nonfiction publisher, and said to them, you know, I've got an idea. And at the time, there was a show which is, you know, probably still going and probably everybody knows about it. It used to be called Pimp My Ride. Yep. And I proposed my book as Pimp My Site. And of course, they loved the idea. And it was very much a DIY kind of thing, you know, teach yourself how you can pimp your website. Anyway, so that was my first book published by Wiley's. And then from then I went on and now I've got 5 fiction books, and I've altogether got about 7 nonfiction books. So that's kind of my writing journey, how I got into it all kind of in sort of as short as a time as I could tell you.
Nice. You're just a little bit prolific, right?
Just a little, yeah. Yeah, just a little. And on top of that, I mean, for future, I've got the series that I've written, which is the Grotto Secret, and the second one is the Sacred Symbol and the Torquil. There's 4 books within something called the Torquil trilogy. At the moment, what I'm trying to do is also turn that into a TV series. So yeah, lots of writing, as I'm sure loads of you, as people are watching, I'm sure loads of them are the same, just trying to find the time in our busy lives to get the stories out and try and tell the stories.
Not enough time in the day. Speaking of...
No, it isn't.
I think it's great that maybe we just go ahead and address, let's just walk it back a little bit. What tips do you have for brand new authors? Like, they haven't even published, and some of them haven't even wrote a book.
Probably I would say is start learning about the craft of writing, because a lot of people think that they can just start writing, and of course they do, but you know, there is so many important techniques that you have to follow when you're writing a novel, when you're writing nonfiction, fiction, whatever you're writing. There's a lot that you have to learn. So I would say learn as much as you can. There are the most amazing books out there, you know, even from the basics about the 3-act structure, these books on how to, you know, get characters, plots, thrillers, different genre books. I have a bit of an obsession with learning the techniques of writing. And that's why I started the blog that I've got, which is Writing Goals. And on there, I just blog about the different books I've read and say to people, this book is amazing. It tells you this and it tells you that. And this is why it'll help you as a writer. So I've read just hundreds of these books. And I think that the biggest tip for new writers is learn as much as you can. While you're writing, learn as much as you can. And probably also read as much as you can in that particular genre. Because if you're writing, for example, if you're writing about science fiction and you've never watched a science fiction movie before, it probably won't work. You know, there'll be some disconnect. So read lots of books in the genre, or, you know, watch films in that genre so that you kind of get to understand the genre. But I think probably the top tip would be learn as much as you can about writing, and it can be done quite cheaply. You don't have to go crazy like me and buy all these books. You can do a lot of learning on sites like, you know, fantastic YouTubers like you've got. You know, there's just so many good YouTubers out there. Just go onto YouTube and, you know, type in a subject on YouTube, how to write a compelling character, or, you know, how to create a character flaw, whatever it is. Just learn about it, because I think that's so important. And you know, readers and judges and publishers, if you want to get your book out into the publishing world through a publisher, or, you know, through self-publishing, you really have to learn these things.
Awesome. Is there any recommended resource that you go to?
I just look on, I go to Amazon and I say, okay, if I'm looking for a particular subject, I just go and I search it. What I also do is every time I'm reading writing blogs, I'm probably like you, I'm very big into looking at stuff on YouTube. I'm look at writing blogs. I do a lot of searching around the internet, and whenever I see there's a new book out, or if I see that somebody's recommending a book, I immediately make a note of it. If I can't get it there and then for whatever reason, I always come back to, I've got a little notebook of my wish list of writing books. I'll always come back to it and say, right, I've got to buy this book now. And I mean, I read these books at various times in between writing my own books, a good, if you commute, obviously nobody's really commuting these days, but if anybody commutes, that's an ideal time to read a writing book, to learn about the craft of writing, while you're on the commute, or not if you're driving, but if you're on the train or something, it's good. Or, if you've got a little spare time, just go and sit in a quiet corner and just, even if you can, knock off a chapter, read a little bit, learn about the techniques of writing. It's a very exciting subject. I mean, I'm a bit obsessive, as you can hear. I'm a bit obsessive about it. I'm mad about it because I do think, a lot of people say, oh, writers, writers have to be born. You can't go and write. You can't. You have to be born. That's not true. It's really not true. Anybody who's got a good story to tell can learn to write. You just have to go down the path. You just have to learn the stuff, read, watch YouTube videos, just fill your head with all this wonderful stuff about how to write. And then there you got it. You got the story in your head. Just learn how to put that story down onto a page and you're away.
You sound like you're the type of person, you've been writing for years now. Learning's it's a never-ending process for you. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's very important. Yeah. And if anybody can garner that love for learning and that love for learning about their particular craft, then they'll have a passion for it. And if you've got a passion for it, you can go far in life, I think.
Very cool. We're going to segue over here to something that just absolutely has me curious, because obviously there's going to be some people that want to know this as well. What's the secret to you winning so many awards?
Probably what I just mentioned a minute ago. I just mentioned, you have a passion for what you do. And I think probably the reason that I've won so many business awards, I've won one book award. I would love to win more book awards when I can get time to put my books into awards. But I think passion is probably, passion and energy is probably a very good indicator of how you could win awards. From a business point of view, I think you have to have, number one, of course, the knowledge, because you have to be in that zone. So if you've got the knowledge, and if you show the passion you've got and the energy you've got for that subject, I think you can't go wrong. I think you should definitely enter. If you're an expert in a particular subject, you should definitely enter awards, because it gives you huge kudos. I've been on so many TV shows. I've been on breakfast shows and all sorts of TV shows, because once you've won an award, and the various business awards that I've won, people want to know about you. And that's a very good, especially for authors, it's a very, very good way of getting yourself out into the public eye. People find out about you, you get onto TV, you get onto different shows and stuff like that. And then people, your word is spreading, and then maybe people will read your books. So yeah, I think probably not just passion, probably knowledge and passion and energy, it'll come through, it'll show through. And I think, once that shows through, people who are arranging these different awards will see that. And as for book awards, that's a completely different subject. I think, are you going to chat about that? Are you going to ask me questions about that? Should I go into that now?
It's perfect for us to transition. Keep going.
Keep going. Well, I think from a book awards point of view, there's probably quite a few things. I would say probably 3 or 4 things that come to mind immediately. Your character really has to jump off the page from like first line, get that character, show that compelling character, and make sure that character is pulling that reader, whether that reader is a reader of your book, or a reader like a publisher or a literary agent, or a reader who's a judge, as in, awards, because we're talking about awards now. So judges would be reading your writing that you've entered into the awards. So make sure that whatever you've put down in, those first few lines, that it must just pull that person through those pages, just really take them on that journey so that they're champing at the bit to read more about the story. And that comes from story. It comes from having a killer, what they call a killer first sentence. Absolutely got to have a killer first sentence.
Yeah.
There are amazing killer first sentences, and you can go and, Google search killer first sentences. And then I think also another very big thing is the writing. The writing has got to be really good. It's got to be good writing. And show that you can write. No mistakes. No mistakes. Show that you can write. Have beautiful writing from the first off. And when I say a hook, the hook can be either something intriguing, you saying or asking a question, or you're proposing a question in the reader's mind, in the judge's mind or something. Yeah. You're proposing a question with whatever you're saying, and that then has to be answered. But by doing these kind of things, these little techniques, these little tricks, as they say, you're going to get somebody reading, and hopefully if you're in a book awards, they will carry on reading, and they will read your work, and they will rate your work, and they will rate your work highly. And that's how your book will eventually, get up the scores and semi-finalists and finalists, and hopefully get to be a winner. So I think those are the most important things for a book awards.
Yeah. You've given some great best practices for a lot of authors out there, both fiction and nonfiction. What are a few mistakes you see authors making today, and what advice would you give to them?
I think a lot of, especially from a self-published authors, I have over the last 10, 15 years, I've been speaking to and helping self-published authors. I kind of started out when I first went into the publishing industry. I was a PR for Oxford University Press. So it was a huge honor to be working with some fantastic children's writers, really top best-selling writers. And it was lovely because my job was to take them along to the book fairs and, take them along to the journalists' lunches. And, it was great fun. But since then, I've been working with self-published authors and being one myself. I think a lot of self-published authors, because they don't have the budget, they either just try and do a book cover themselves. And they try and just do some kind of edit themselves. Now, I'm not sure how they do it. A lot of them don't edit at all, or they get, Joe down the road to edit, or, mum's good at picking up mistakes. She's good at...
Don't have mom edit.
No, don't. So that's the kind of thing that so many self-published authors, I would say, try and find the money, put the money aside and try and find the money to make sure you get a good edit and a good, book cover. And I think a myth is that book covers are very expensive. And a lot of authors say, well, I can't afford one. My first book, or I'm self-publishing my second book, I can't afford it. Book covers aren't expensive. You can get one for $200 or $300. Definitely put a bit of money into a book cover, because it's the same old thing, this whole thing about judging a book by the cover. It really is, if somebody sees a book cover and they think, they won't read your book, and your words might be beautiful, but you just haven't had the time or the money to put into a good book cover. So ask around, ask in Facebook groups or, Google, just try and see if you can find somebody to do your book, a good book cover. And an editor is probably your most valuable thing, because, and again, some editors would cost $5,000 or $6,000. I mean, the editors that work for the big publishing houses, that's what they charge. You don't have to find somebody like that. If you go on to, Upwork and all these freelance sites, that there are good editors on these freelance sites. There's loads of sites that you can go on to. Just look for an editor, find somebody within a budget, and even negotiate with them and say, look, if I can't afford the whole 80,000 words or whatever it is, can I give you 50,000 words? What do you charge me for 50? Because even if you can get 50,000 words, then maybe you can squeeze or do a deal with them or squeeze out the next 30,000 words or whatever it is. But I do think that probably the two most important things for self-published authors in particular is really get a good editor and really get yourself a good book cover. Because really, if you don't, I see so many self-published authors struggling and saying, No one's taking no one's buying my book. I'm not getting good reviews. I'm not selling. Why? What's going on? It's because people are not even picking up the book because first of all, if they pick up the book because it hasn't got a good book, it hasn't got a professional, really professional book cover, they won't buy it. And then second of all, if they do buy it, if you can only afford a book cover and you have a book cover done, and then it all falls down because you haven't had a proper edit. So it's really got to be done. Editing and book covers, you got to make sure that you can afford them. So sorry, I've gone on and on about that, but that's a big passion of mine that, self-published authors, they kind of, we've all got to stick together in this self-publishing thing. We're all in the same boat. We're all doing the same thing. We want to get our stories out. We want people out there to read our stories. But in order to do that, we've got to hold up a certain standard. We can't put out, sorry to say this, we can't put out crap. We really can't put out crap. And we can't have these horrible book covers. I'm not saying there is a whole lot of horrible book covers, but I've seen some, and then authors go along and say, okay, I'll try and get somebody to do it. And the difference is amazing. They're suddenly selling books because their book covers are good. So I think it's really important that all of us self-published authors just really raise the standard and show the publishing, the mainstream traditional publishing world that, just because we're self-publishing doesn't mean to say there's any stigma. It doesn't mean to say that we're any less better at telling stories. We're any less, at writing. We are, and probably a lot of us are even better, but we have to show that. And the only way to show that is by getting a damn good book cover and a damn good edit. And away we go. And we should be made.
Ooh, I love it. You're on a rant. I feel it. I feel the energy coming off you. So you know what? I'm just going to poke that bear right now. I'm just going to keep poking it because I'm going to play a couple of different questions here. We're going to run off the path here in just a little bit. Folks, if you're enjoying today's video, make sure that you hit the like because I'm going to ask a question here. It's a loaded one. I hope you're ready for it. All right. Given the choice, let's say I'm cash strapped, but I really want to get my book out. Okay? I have no choice. Someone's holding a gun to my head. I've only got enough money for a book cover or editing. Not both. Which one should I choose?
Okay, maybe instead of, I'm probably not going to answer that question as which one you should choose because both are important. So what if, I'm not saying everybody should do this, but what if you've got a big following, let's say you're a business person or you've got a big following somewhere else, what if you did something like a Kickstarter? Or what if you did something like a Patreon? And maybe ask people to try and help you and give them a little bit of your work. I mean, a lot of authors say, don't go down that route. People won't buy your books. Filmmakers, they even do this. Everybody nowadays, everybody and their auntie and their granny are doing some kind of crowdfunding. So maybe do a little crowdfunding project, get a little thing together and say, I've got this amazing book. This is my own private little design. It's not very good. I don't know if it's going to really, pick up to the standard. I just need 200 quid or $200 or 300, whatever it is. Can anybody try and help me? Look, for, if you give me a buck or a dollar, or if I will put at the back of the book, thanks to Dale and Paula for giving me, a pound or euro. If you give me 5, I'll do this for you. I'll give you the free book, or there's so many creative ways that you can do it, and that you can find a way to get your book cover and your edit. So that's actually not the right answer that you wanted, because I know what you are. You asked me, which one do you choose? And I didn't give you the answer.
Well, it's funny. You killed my next question dead in its tracks because I was going to say, what should a cash-strapped person do? And I think you gave a great answer. So that was awesome. Well done. Very, very, honestly, I think sometimes people get so excited about their work that they're just ready to pump it out into the world.
Yeah.
What you're saying is pump the brakes, take a step back, get the necessary funding so everything is ship-shape before you send it on out there. I agree with you. There's just so much that people get so excited about their work, but it's like, hang on. It's not going to be any less better if you wait another 6 months to a year to get out this publication, because then when you launch it, people are going to go, oh my gosh, this just singed my eyebrows. I cannot believe that I went ahead and invested this through a crowdfunding. So that is so cool.
sorry, just before you go
Sure,
on,
sure.
there's something else just on that as well.
Sure.
A lot of people actually believe, look, second time lucky, third time lucky. Just what you were saying. A lot of people think, well, I'm just gonna get this out. I'm just gonna get it out. But and they think, oh, I'll go back and I'll pull it back and I'll re-edit it, or I'll once I've earned a bit of money, I can re-edit it, or I'll try and get a book cover later on, 3 months, 6 months. Unfortunately, with self-publishing, there is no second or third time. There isn't. Don't believe it. There isn't. There is only first time. If you get it out there first time and your cover is crap and your writing, I'm not saying your writing isn't good, because your writing probably is good, but it needs an editor to tweak this or tweak that or find the little inconsistencies. A man is sitting down in a room here and the next scene he's off somewhere else. These kind of things, only an editor's brain, and I've got an excellent editor I can recommend, and I just get in touch with me. I'll put you in touch with him, and he won't, take your socks and, your money and your car and your house. But just having an editor and a book cover and maybe a book trailer, if you can stretch that far on your Patreon or your Kickstarter we were talking about, those kind of things help you with the first time. You will not have a second chance. You will not even get near a third chance if you don't get this right first time. And that, I think, is so important. We've got to stick together. We've got to do this, guys. We've got to show everybody out there that, us self-publishing people, we are amazing. We tell beautiful stories. We write well. We have good stories to tell. We just have to make sure that we can keep the grade. We can show them as really high quality, and that's important. First time only.
Yeah, never a second chance to make that first impression. That's so true. And I think a lot of people just think to themselves, oh no, I'll get a mulligan. I'll be fine. And yeah, you're so right. All right, so I'm going to push this train along because I know I've got you on fire right now, but I do want to talk about what you started, because you went from being an award-winning author as well as an award-winning entrepreneur to now you founded with your husband Ken Page Turner Awards. So what led you to creating Page Turner Awards?
Well, when the Grotto Secret came out, I started looking around for book awards, because that's what I used to do as a PR for Oxford University Press. I used to put out, the sort of the clients, so to speak, the authors I was working with. I used to put out and try and see what book awards I could get for them. So I started looking around for awards for my own book. And I couldn't believe it when I won. I was invited into a big fancy do in London and went along and, sitting there, and somebody, the people called out, the Grotto Secret Paula win. And I just sat there and thinking, suddenly, oh my God, it's me. I just couldn't believe it. I went up to the stage and I had Sir Frederick Forsyth, the jackal himself, handing over me my award. I was just so bowled over, so wowed, so amazed by this whole experience. I went home thinking, I have to do this. This bug came into me, and I chewed on it and chewed on it. This was in 2017. I chewed on it for about 2 years. And eventually I said in 2019, I said to Ken, we had other book businesses, and we got about 9 or so businesses, all online businesses. And I said to him, I've really got to do something with this idea. I want to just see if it works. So I started writing off to various judges, asked judges, would you, if I did this, two sides of it, if I did the book awards, and, kind of got some really good prizes, like audiobook prizes. If I did that, where would I go? And then the same thing from the writing award point of view. And I was just bowled over because so many of these huge experts in the literary world came back to me and said to me, fantastic idea. Because what I was trying to do, I was trying to marry up a writing award where you could actually have, instead of just a prize or a little badge, you got a little badge and you can put the badge on your book or wherever, or your badge and your signature. What I wanted is to give something that was so worthwhile, like a life-changing, award, a life-changing prize, like somebody gets discovered, writing gets discovered. Anyway, it was a long story. I kind of started looking at judges, got judges. Then I started looking at prizes, put all of that together. We launched Page Turner Awards last year, in our first inaugural year. And, the first year I was saying to Ken, I just hope somebody gets discovered. I hope a writer gets discovered, or an author really, gets a whole new audience, because they found Dale. I couldn't believe it, because We had, in the first year, we had so many amazing successes that we had 3 writers who won a literary agent. We had 6 writers who won a writing mentorship. We had 5 unpublished writers who won a publishing contract.
Oh.
And then we had 13 independent authors who won an audiobook. And an audiobook is so expensive for a self-publishing author. Most of them can't go. I mean, I haven't gone down that route. I just haven't had the money to go down that route. So 13 won an audiobook production. And then we had a few winning some other amazing prizes, PR campaigns, stuff like that. So it was, in our first year, it was absolutely amazing. I was so thrilled that we had managed to get to that point. And now we're in 2022, our second year. We've got amazing judges, yourself included. I'm so excited that you're on our judging panel. So, wow. We've also got, who's joining you to judge. We've also got the fantastic Paul Michael Glazer. Of course, everybody will remember him as Starsky from Starsky and Hutch.
Yep. And
he'll be judging the Screenplay Award. So we've got 5 awards this year. Last year we just had the 2. We had ebook and writing award. This year we've got a writing award. We've got a writing mentorship award. We've got a screenplay award. We've got a young writers award, and I think that's all I mentioned. And a book award. So So this year we've expanded lots more categories. But I think we've got to see some fantastic successes come out of it this year, as we did last year.
That is really cool. How many judges do you have? Let me back up. How many judges did you have last year versus this year? Because I know that you have a panel, because my good friend Keith Wheeler Books, Keith is actually on the panel as well. When he reached out to me, he's like, hey, I'm one of the judges. I was like, dude, get out of here.
So last year we had 7, and this year we got 80, I think 70, 80, I've lost count. So, yeah.
Wow, that is a big panel.
It is, and these most amazing people like yourself have come on board and are going to read the entries and help. The exciting part is they are going to help discover some writers, whether that's published authors or unpublished writing. We're just going to get some of these guys discovered, and that's really what we're all about. We really want to just, get some of these stories out there, get some of these stories told. Yeah,
I know. I think I'm working with nonfiction writers, correct? I think is what I was getting categorized under. So you're in sort of the book awards, so you can check nonfiction or fiction. Yep. So if you got nonfiction, folks, put it in right now, because there's a good chance it might come across my desk. I'll be looking at some stuff, and it's so exciting. So how can people find out more about Page Turner Awards?
Well, they can just go along to pageturner.awards.com. I think this is what I'm supposed to do down here, pageturner.awards.com. On the top menu, you can't miss it. It says enter. Read that page, find out how to enter. Quite simple. It's an online award. It's not like the old traditional awards where you send off your PDF or your book and you never hear anything more, and you don't even know if it's even being read, and you paid your money and you're thinking, has my book been read? Whatever, have I won? What's happening? It's not like that. It's all above board. You can, as you just mentioned a few minutes ago, you can see all these judges. They're coming to read the work. It's all done online. You can choose if you don't want your book to be visible, which means nobody else will see it except the judge. Yeah. You can also choose if you want to get feedback, and therefore you can ask some of your friends, some of your family, or some of your followers, your social media followers. You can say to them, hey, come along, have a look, just read my work and give me a critique. Tell me what you think. And then, of course, they can add their comments. And then you can change as much as you want. You can make any edits as much as you want up until the 31st of May. 31st of May, it's cut off, no more, because on the 1st of June, the judges come in, and that's where the judges come in, you included, will get online, and the judges will start reading what we've got, and then no more edits. But anybody can enter from now right up until the 31st of May. And as I said, they can make any changes. So even if they think, well, what if I'm still writing? I've got my 10, because it's just 10 pages that you enter, 10 pages or 3,000 words. So they might be thinking, well, I haven't quite finished it. What if I get further down the line and then I might want to come back and change it? That's cool. You can do that up until the 31st. You can change it as much as you want.
Excellent. Very good. So folks, today is March 4th, 2021. You have until May 31st, 2021. By the way, Paul is not paying me to say this. I'm completely volunteering on this type of stuff here. I really believe this is going to be an amazing awards program. So make sure that you go over there right now. Paula, let's, before we go ahead and go over to the live Q&A, how can viewers get in touch with you?
Yeah, with me or the Page Turner Awards?
Both.
Me. Both. Paul. I'm Paula Wynn. My pen name is Paula Wynn. My real name is Paula Sheridan. They can get in touch with me through my own website or through my Book Lover website or my Writing Goals website, which is where I blog about writing books. And then, of course, Page Turner Awards. They can get in touch with us on Page Turner Awards. Just hit the contact, get in touch with me direct. Or just read all the information. The most important thing I think most writers don't do is they kind of think, oh, what do I do? I'll email them. And rather than doing that, because, our time is important to be trying to put out, as much stuff as we can to help the writers. And so we've got all the information on the website. They just have to read the FAQs and the enters and those kind of pages. But yeah, just get us on social media or get us directly through Page Turner Awards. That's the easiest thing to do.
Awesome. Good stuff. Let's go over here. I'm going to give a shout out to those that came here live. Kevin McGuire, it's good to see you, buddy, watching in from Ukraine. SL Michaels, Samantha, great to see you. Jocelyn Carter, thank you so much for joining. Let's see here. Book Dragon, good morning to you as well. Celinda LeBrouse, it's great to see you, Celinda. JQ Rose, always awesome seeing and hearing from you. Let's see here. Easy Graphics, Andy, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you. Steven Serrell, always great seeing that banana sticker next to your name. I appreciate all the channel members, by the way. Samantha, Jocelyn, Steven, thank you very much for being channel members here. Okay, so we've got our very first guest. We have our very first question. That's a genius idea with crowdfunding, but how about unknown authors with no audience? That might be friends and family, I guess?
Well, I think it would start with friends and family for sure. That could be easy enough to do. But I think also one of my big things for authors and especially authors who want, or writers who want to go down the self-publishing route, is to start building a reader list. And with crowdfunding, you can actually build a reader list, because readers, in the long term, the readers are going to be the people that are going to buy your book. So they are important to start building up a list of them early. But you can get onto your social media sites, go into join writing groups, go onto Goodreads or Facebook, find, other author groups, writing groups, and just say to these guys, look, I'm doing this. Would you help me? What advice can you give me? If I do something for you, would you do something for me? For example, if I give you a tweet, will you tweet back for me? This kind of thing, writers stick together. Everybody does this kind of thing, sharing. It's all good, good stuff to share amongst each other. So ask other authors to help you and to share. And then, of course, you can go into reader groups. Readers are, at the end of the day, they're going to be the people who are going to want to buy your book. So go into reader groups on Facebook or Goodreads or wherever you hang out on social, and just say to them, look, I'm doing this crowdfunding thing. It's because of this reason. I need a good book, or I need a good editor. What can you suggest? Have you got, would you like to follow me? Would you like to just give me $1 or £1, and I'll do this for you? And then you kind of have to, on all these crowdfunding sites, you have to work up a list of give backs, or a list of things that you'll give to people who support you. So once you've worked up your list of things that you're going to do, you just start sharing them around social and join lots of groups, that kind of thing. And I think it's very important that authors do. On Facebook, I've got something called Newsletter Swap, and I've also got something called Author Cross Promotions. And authors can join these groups, and by all means join my groups or any other groups, and just ask for help, ask for sharing, and maybe another author, if they've got a big list and you haven't, maybe they'll put out a message about your crowdfunding, and in return you say to them, look, I'll do something for you. I don't have a big list now, but in 6 months when I got a big list, I'll definitely do something for you. So there's lots of ways. Just because you're brand new and you don't have anybody just apart from your friends and family doesn't mean to say it must stop you. There's just no reason that you should be stopped. You just got to do these things. You got to try.
Yeah, that's an amazing tip, by the way. I almost feel like we can do an entire video just based on the information you gave. That was wonderful. Someone gave you a big shout out. Let's see here. JQ says, Paula, you are a gem. I love your energy. Best wishes on your awards program.
Thank you.
Steven Serrell says, I'm coming to your site now. Haven't slept in like 40 hours, but I'm coming. So yes,
Good. I'll
folks,
see you. I'll
go
see you
over to
there.
pageturner.awards.com for sure. Walter Wyburn, what's going up? Hey, Walter, I'm sorry, we're starting to wrap things up. Paula, again, how can people get in touch with Page Turner Awards?
pageturner.awards.com. Come along, have a look, click the enter button, and go for it. There's my little Springer Spaniel coming along. He wants to join the interview as well. Yeah, Page Turner Awards. Have a look at read all the stuff that we've got. We've got stuff all over the site. Just have a good old read. Just soak it all up. Because it's important that you get all of it. And then get in touch with us and see where we go. Hopefully you'll be the writer that'll be discovered this year.
Yep, awesome. I would love to see some people get some trad pub deals, get some literary agents, get new audiobooks, audiobook funding. Why am I a judge? Come on.
I want to enter the Page Turner Awards because I want to win an audiobook.
Yeah, give me the audiobook. That's all I want. All right, folks. Thank you very much, Paula. And hey, while I still have your attention here, folks, I actually have talked about book awards before with our former guest, Book Award Pro founder, Hannah Jacobson. You're going to go take a look at it over inside this video. If you've already seen it, which you should definitely go and watch it, YouTube recommends you should check out this one. I will see you in either one. Now I'm going to stare at the screen because I need to make sure that there's a little bit of a bumper there.